What's going on, YouTube? Who we got out there? Wait for you guys to filter in here. Poppy, they're coming. They're coming. Relax. They'll be right here. Oh, Rude Mopar dude. There you go. What's happening, Rude man? Not much. I just figured I'd pop you guys and see what's going on. Justin, Casey, Gideon, Joe Dirt. Yeah, you did make me look. All right, fair is fair. What's up, everybody? How you doing? But I did. I made you look, right? I'm so slick. What's going on, Ari? What's happening, brother man? Ari, the book you said Kathy came. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Have I slept any? Of course. Dakota, I'm sure you're loaded with questions tonight. Yeah. Always a good day when the Waffle House is on. Waffle House hat is on. What's going on, Stang? Fubar the Axe. So we had John here, right, over the weekend. Now we got to have you guys here, Ari and Fubar. We gotta have like everybody, all of like the UTG clan. We got to get together for something. James III had his 66 Charger project for sale for the last 2 months and decided to keep it. Yeah, man, hold on to it. Sometimes you lose interest in a car, but you still dig the car. Just put it on the side, pretend it doesn't exist. I showed my ass on the youngins building that motor. Where did I show my... Removing inner fender wells to lighten up. Explain how to. Right. Every different car has every car has a different setup with that, so I can't really tell you how to do that. Yeah, Ari, I'd be happy to have anybody chip away at any of the shit that I have around here. I'm one guy. I've only got 2 hands, with all these cars and trucks and shit. I need all hands I can get. Oh, what's going on, Lunar? Yeah, 360. I just finished. I finished the other head today. Well, I got to put them together. I got to put the heads together. So with any luck, I'll have it running by the end of the week. Did I rest well from the 318 streams? Not really. No. Lunar and I were up at the next morning at like 5:30, and edit. So no, I haven't really. We're going continuously here. Can I make a video on how to degree a cam? I am going to make a video on how I degree cams, which is different than how everybody else degrees cams. If you go to the live feed, we posted the live engine build, and there's a section in there. I think it's in part 4. I'm not even sure what it is, but where I show how to degree a cam there. But I'll do a separate video on that. But the way I degree cams is completely different than the way everybody else degrees cams. What's going on, Sand Mountain? Mopar Matt representing Oregon. James, you emailed me a few pictures of my projects. James, Uncle Kathy, who's hiding right now because she's like, no YouTube. I can't do YouTube, right? So as soon as she saw me setting this thing up, she ran, she took off. So she's hiding. I think she's in a closet. But yeah, we get like 12, 15,000 emails an hour, actually. So it's hard to keep up with these things, but I'll have her go through it. You watched a couple of parts of the live, but it was late for you. It's on there now if you want to go watch it. We have a whole playlist with the lives. Yes, Harry, she got her book, and thank you. I said earlier on. Yes, thank you so much for that. Much appreciated, brother. Need to buy a woman from the Philippines. They're small. They're small. What's my favorite car, Jay Prado? Your car. I love your car, man. Luna, save your typing. She's hiding. She wants to have nothing to do with this. As soon as she saw me setting up the camera, she's like, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm gonna go live, right?" And she's like, "No!" And she fucking ran, screaming. She threw her hair in the air and her hands in the air, rather, and she's screaming. She's in the closet right now. She's curled up in a ball. No, no. Uh, Wait, it shows a car. No, I actually I used the Ouija board before, and I to determine what my favorite car is, and believe it or not, it said yours. 67 T-Bird. Actually, I do like those cars. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, I like them. They're a little finicky, man. The electrical systems on those cars, like they put a lot of stuff on those cars, you know. So they're a little bit difficult to keep everything working. But I do love the style of those things. Actually, those 67 T-Birds. I don't know what year that body ran. 66, 67, 68. I'm not even sure which years it ran, but those are really slick. Uh, Granny's Garage, what's going on? Uncle Tony's Garage, who's that? Is that Uncle Kathy? Oh, you're posting on here? Holy shit, oh, yeah, ignore everybody else. Nobody else counts. None of these other 184 people count. Uh, what was this? Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Lots of people clipped your cam timing at the lifters, and when you put number one atop the son of compression stroke when you drop the distributor, and that was great information. Oh yeah, well, but that's what we do, man. That's what we're here for. We're here to do information, right? Terrence Seymour representing New Zealand. My brother's down under. How are you? Uh, Kathy and Crystal are the glue that holds your channel together. I will not doubt that one bit. I will be the first to admit I could not do this by myself. I wouldn't want to do this by myself. Yeah, absolutely. Beaumont resident. Uncle Tony, having heads rebuilt a machine to the shop. The guy is saying since it's from 1964, I have to go with hardened push rods and guides. Am I being ripped off? What should I say to him? I've never heard of hardened push rods and guides. Hardened exhaust seats, don't let them change the intake seats, but hardened exhaust seats would be a good idea. Um, you know, but yeah, no push rods and guides, no. Uh, Dog herder, you're making sausage and peppers. Good man. Quick question: is it a common problem if you know? Does the tail lights have a lot of problems with lighting with original electric components? I did a video last week or 2 weeks ago about that exact thing. I can't even remember what it's called, but we just did that video. Even in DW, Master Tony. Oh, no, just Tony, just Tony. To run guys, you have to have hard push rods or they'll wear away within 100 miles. To run, wait a minute, to run guides, this is a small block Chevy. What do valve guides have to do with push rods? Am I missing something here? Yeah, Gepredo, it has something to do with common electrical problem, the most common electrical problem, or something along those lines. We did it just last week. Number one classic car electrical mystery. Thank you, Dakota. Yeah, I'm confused too, Beaumont resident. I don't know what that means. Bomos, thank you so much, sir. Can I use inline fuse versus ceramic ballast resistor? No, a fuse and a ballast resistor are two different things. Ford's, General Motors use a ballast wire from the ignition switch to the coil, to the positive on the coil. Chrysler's use a regular wire but use a separate ballast resistor. So, but a fuse is something that just blows under load. It's a load limiter, right? Is what a fuse is, and a ballast resistor will regulate the load, or dissipate some of the load, turns it into heat. Prado, I have a big question for you. Do you prefer stock engine with performance parts or swapped engines, like, for example, the most common LS? Me, myself, I always look to work with the original engines of the cars. To me, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting the most that you can out of like the stock parts. But I mean, you know, if you're not into like, you know, digging into a motor and going through all that, then a swap is a viable option for you. Using guide plates. Okay. All right. So I'm not understanding. Why are we using guide plates? It's a fucking 273, right? Or a 283. She's building a 280. They're building a 283. Okay. Well, it's a street driver. Why does this thing need guide plates? Yeah. Why do you need guide plates? Why are they using one-piece hardened push rods? What's the matter with the original push rods? I'm not understanding this. This is not a hot rod motor. This is a regular cruiser go down the fucking road, right? Why are we changing our push rods? Why are we adding guide plates to this thing? What does any of that have to do with just putting? Yeah, bummer. It's stock 283 power pack heads. Yeah, just let them put the hardened exhaust seats in it. Don't let them sell you intake seats. The intake seats are eternal. It's only the exhaust seats. Just put hardened exhaust seats in it and nothing else. How do I identify the case of my 8 3/4 rear end? If you, oh, thank you, by the way, Simi, Parthenap Smith. How do I identify the case on the 8 3/4? If you look on the driver's side of the case, there's the pinion and the housing. Between the pinion and the housing on the side of the case, along the bottom, there's going to be a 6 or 7 digit number, and the last 3 digits are the case number. So it'll be 741, 742, or 49. TNT Racing, what's up, brother man? Uh, 283s do rev nice. They're sweet motors. All of the small journal small blocks are like that. They're very free and happy engines. John, how are you doing, brother? That's the big question. How are you doing? Would I say the 420 is a good motor? Yeah, the 420 is a great motor. Am I ever going to build an LS? Not for myself, but if somebody was to bring me an LS and say, "Hey, let's build this thing," you know, they had the car to put it in and all of that. Yeah, absolutely, I'd love to build one. Where is the 318 now? You mean the one we built over the weekend? It's up at Lunar's house in New York. They're waiting to get it to Nick's. Evidently, it'll happen within the next 2 weeks. Jeff Jankowitz, what's going on, brother? Your car won't start. Representing Allentown, what's happening, man? Someone is pushing Wildcats Wrecking. I've heard about that place so many times. Jeff! We roll a cigarette. Digging through your grandpa's shed, you found a Chevy 302 DZ. Remember those? Yeah, from a Z28. Yeah, those are great motors, man. Tell me you had the Crossfam on it. Do I ever stop working? No. Work is life. Your work is how you validate your existence on this planet. You love the porting video? Yeah, you absolutely can do it yourself, Robert. Just be careful and go slow. That's all. Have you ever used an electrolysis tank to remove rust from engine parts? I'm going to make one. I'm absolutely going to make one. I got a heavy block in there that I want to experiment with. How do I feel about the Pontiac Fieros at 3800 swap worthwhile? I would go. I've seen the small block swapped. You know, I think the 3800 swap is a little bit easier, but I've seen V8s in them. No, I think that's a great thing. Those cars are fun. How far out is the daily driver from being done? Rodney, I just finished the other head today. I got a broken stud that I'm drilling out on the exhaust. I'm hoping by Friday, Saturday, hopefully, if nothing crazy happens and everything just finishes, you know, I just got a bunch of cleaning to do. Rockers, push rods, rocker shafts, lots of bolts have to get cleaned. So if I get a full day on it tomorrow and Friday, then yeah, by Saturday she should be running. Jeff, Tony, question on a 91 Chevy 250 TBI, walnut idle, stalls out, IAC problem? Starts and or it's fine, stalls and stops. Yeah, probably an IAC problem. Yes. What's going on, John? Broken stud. That's a good pseudonym. Ever owned an Oldsmobile? I bought an early '80s Delta '98 from a buddy of mine who was a used car dealer. He had just taken it on a trade, and I bought this thing and I drove it. I had to make it to a match race. I was tuning a car someplace in like Chicago, and in that Chicago area, and I made it to Clearfield, PA, and I threw a rod. And I'm pretty sure it's the only Oldsmobile I've ever owned. All right, hey. The dogs hey! Maggie, quiet. Darla, stop. The girls are going nuts here. They're about to have a thing, Maggie and Darla. What do I think about Code Block? Have I ever used it? Cookie, damn it. You like me yelling at the dog? That's cool. They want the ice cream. I actually want ice cream. We don't have any ice cream now.
I bought you ice cream.
You bought me ice cream? Yeah. Did you get me whipped cream too?
No, I thought we had it.
No, we're out.
I'm sorry. Come on, Maggie. Come on.
Those dogs have pipes. Yeah, they're beagles. Yeah, they live for their pipes. Maggie, you stuck? No, she has her way out.
Take it out.
Excuse me, guys. Come on, Maggie.
Come on, Darla. She's stuck. Get the couch. Come on.
Yeah, come on, get up.
Hey,
Maggie was stuck halfway under the couch. Hey. All right, stop. Don't make it worse. You're okay. Little chaos. Well, Maggie and Darla just got vicious with each other there. It was pretty intense for about 10 seconds. Robert Bray says, Kathy, the fence looks great.
Oh, yeah, when did you see the fence?
I don't know if he says the fence looks great.
Thanks.
He's probably camped out.
Probably.
He's stalking you. Yeah, he's got his.
Right.
Yeah. Acid porting thoughts. I've never used it myself. That's something. I mean, I wouldn't experiment with that unless you really know what you're doing, because I mean, it's so easy to just blow through a casting. Can I do another video on weight reduction? You're going through this process and you see 10 streets, trip truck, I'd like to see more of that topic. Yeah, I mean, we could. It's hard to, yeah, we'll do more weight reduction stuff. Shush, can't you guys see I'm doing YouTube? This is what buys your cookies. Shush. Weight reduction. Every morning, right? Okay, it's hard for me to do a video or something like that. But I'll tell you what I do, right? Every morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, like that. I get up, I grab my coffee, and I run to the shop. I go to the shop, and before I do anything, right? Before I do anything, I have Bottle Rocket in there right now. That's like the car du jour. So before I do anything, I look the car over while I'm drinking my coffee, and I find something that I can reduce the mass of, right? Maybe it's a shorter bolt or cutting down a bracket or doing something. But the very first thing I do every morning is I find a few ounces on that car that I can lose. And I do that every day. I do it religiously. So, there's weight reduction. You know what I mean? That's what weight reduction is. Well, weight reduction, go on a diet. I've lost about 15 pounds. I'm every winter I get fat, and then I start to lose it about now. If my memory is good, no one put the dripper for the timing chain on a 318. Early ones didn't have it. Will Lunar 318 survive the dyno? We'll find out. Hey Tony, what kind of sealant do you use on the exhaust studs on a small block Mopar? I don't. I chase the threads. I bottom out the stud, up to the shoulder, and tighten it, and they don't leak. Rodney from North Carolina, represent North Carolina. What's going on, brother? Ford builds. I would love to build a Ford, but somebody's got to bring me a Ford to build. Jody, thank you. Can you tell us about the broken leg and the exiled Egyptian doctor that worked for an outlaw? I've told that story, but I mean, just real quick. I was on my way. I was actually building a Camaro, a small block Chevy motor, and I was on my way to a bar on Staten Island to meet the owner of the car and discuss what we were going to do with it and get a deposit and all. And I was on my way there, and a guy made a left turn in front of me. It's on my motorcycle. So I got the bike sideways, just in time, and I ended up getting my leg caught between the motorcycle and the roof of the car, and it shattered my tibia. So that was what led to that. Mex American, what's going on, Mex? Judge, jury, can I explain a flywheel in more detail? I don't know really how to. I don't really know how to. The purpose of any flywheel, whether it's on a car or a machine or a locomotive, doesn't make any difference what it's on. The purpose of a flywheel is to create smoothness in a reciprocating assembly, right? It's mass. The whole point of a flywheel is to be mass, right? So that the reciprocating motion, right, is turned into rotating motion, is smoothed by that process. Then when you start adding weights to it, what it does is it counteracts load, right? So let's say you've got an engine spinning at 2,000 RPM, and you're going to put a load to it. Without a flywheel, without the mass of a flywheel spinning, the motor would drop down to, let's say, 1,000 RPM. But if you've got the flywheel spinning, you've got a weight going, the inertia of that weight, the motor will be more likely to maintain its RPM and then rise. Did that explain it? I don't know. Do I prefer rubber or plastic bushings? I mean, I just use whatever stock. You mean you're talking about for suspension? I just use whatever original stuff, would come with the car. Yeah, okay, that's much better. The flywheel stores energy and creates inertia. Yes. You ready to see the daily put back on the fleet? Yes, so am I. I can't wait to get that probably this weekend. We were going to run Bottle Rocket this weekend, Saturday night, but Lamb Chopper's got to announce at a race for the Straight Axle Mafia Saturday night. So next Saturday we'll be taking Bottle Rocket to the track. Okay, if I build a motor with a balanced rotating assembly, and later on I want to change the pistons to high compression ones, so I need to get my whole rotating assembly rebalanced. Not if the pistons are the same weight or slightly lighter. Remember, when there's a ratio, and I forget offhand what the ratio is, but when they balance an engine, the big end of the rod has a certain value, the small end of the rod has a certain value, and the piston has a certain value as far as the weights go. And the piston is way down, way down the list of importance. Somebody who's familiar with engine balancing will know the percentages, but odds are if you change the pistons, you'll be fine. Connecting rods, different story. Back to work on a T-bucket. I love T-buckets. Yeah, good luck with that. Have fun. Are factory 1962 FE 352 heads good enough for porting to accommodate daily street circuit? Yes, they are. Go live for Bottle Rocket's first pass? That's a possibility. We could probably do that. You're going to be disappointed. I'll tell you that right now, because his Lamb Chop's directions are going to be just drive it down the track for the first pass. So I have no, whatever it is, it's going to be really slow. You know, the second pass, I'll have him go a little bit harder. The third pass, I'll go a little bit harder still. But the first pass is going to be, I just want him to drive down the track because he's never been down a drag strip before. Okay. I have a 340/40 overboard. Can I trust that engine? Yeah. All Chrysler engines, your classic era Chrysler engines, are designed to accommodate a maximum of a 60 overbore. So at 40, you're fine. Minimum valve spring clearance until coil bind. 50, 60,000 inch is probably safe. Tall John, what's going on, Tall John? Where are you racing in 2 weeks? We're going to take it to Buffalo Valley. John Wilburn worked his ass off Sunday. Yeah, he certainly did. Both of those guys did, and so did the girls. Everybody who was there that day. My friend Al Castillo dropped by too. I wasn't expecting him, and he dropped by and he gave us a big help, very big help. Everybody there. That man, I'm telling you, last Sunday, everybody there pulled their weight. It was great. It was great teamwork. I was really impressed with how everybody just got along and meshed, and we got things done. Some 426 Hemis can be bored 120 thousandths over. No. Tony, when porting heads, can I get rid of the part in the bowl the valve comes out of? Could I grind it away, or does it help guide the valve? No, 90% of the valve guide is in the casting of the head. You can clear that away, right? Well, okay, wait. Let's understand. Not all heads are the same, right? But generally speaking, you can clear that away and trim it down to where it's just nothing. And not worry about it. The valve guide is, you got that much sticking down into the bowl, and you got that much in the fucking head. So I wouldn't worry about it. Anthony Smithy, thank you, sir. Can a 1967 383 160 exhaust valves be enlarged to 174 valves, or should I look for this? Yes, those are 516 heads. And a very, very common modification is to put the 174s in there. But keep in mind, at 383 inches, right, at that size, that 160 exhaust is fine. I mean, you got LSs out there making 1,000 fucking horsepower, and they have that same 160 exhaust valve. So, it's not generally a worthwhile investment. Hey, when will your engine be dynoed at Nick's? It's not my engine. It belongs to Lunar Outlaw Garage, his channel. If you want to go see everything leading up to our live build, you can go to his channel, Lunar Outlaw Garage, and he's got the whole build up, everything up to where he brought it to us, and then now it's going to Nick's Garage sometime within the next 2 weeks. We don't have a definite date yet. His latest build going to Nick's in Montreal. It is going within the next 2 weeks. He and Nick talked today, and they've got something lined up. So, where are number one intake and exhaust valves when you line up the timing chain marks? Small bar, small block. It's not just small bar, small block. Any engine, when you line up dot to dot, right? Both the intake and the exhaust valves are on it's called split overlap. It's the period of time when the exhaust valve is closing and the intake valve is opening. So both of those valves are just barely slightly cracked off their seat. Now, if you rotate the crankshaft 360 degrees, the cam gear rotates 180 degrees. And when both dots are facing up, that's number one top dead center of the compression stroke, and that's when the spark plug would fire. Does that make sense? Is it possible to port a combustion chamber from 53 cc's to 58 cc's? Yeah, no problem. The 5 cc, yeah, nothing. That's nothing. Uh, Lewis, you love me, yeah? Thanks. You grew up in Philly, and I give you a lot of confidence to build things in the process of doing metalwork on my '86 Bronco. Good luck with your channel. Thank you. But that's the whole point. That's what we do with this channel. That's exactly what we're here for, Lewis. To show people that you can do this. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's what we do here. I'm glad you recognize that. Good luck with your project. Tobias, 318 horsepower for a 318 Mopar is very doable on a budget build. You're talking about ours? Wrench and EMT firefighter. A lot of people hating on the 318 build because they think it needs to be perfect from a machine shop. I think it will do great for what it is on a press lot. But that's not the point. The point wasn't to build something fresh from the machine shop. The point was to show what you could do with junk laying around. That was the whole. That was the whole point of it. Thank you, sir. Any updates on that drag racing vein? No, he ran off and started his own channel. I haven't heard from him since. Unity, you're betting it's going to make 360 to 375 horse. I'm going to say you're probably right about. I think it's going to be right about there. Thank you, Harley Hawk. What is a lockup converter? A lockup converter is one that's allowed to slip. A torque converter is like having two pinwheels passing transmission fluid to each other, right? And there's always slip in between them. So a lockup converter incorporates a clutch into that. That the clutch allows the pinwheels, the clutch disengages, allows those two pinwheels to pass fluid to each other. And once you reach a certain point, the clutch engages and overrides those pinwheels. That makes a direct connection between the motor and the transmission. That's what a lockup clutch does. Tony, that's why you were doing the heads. That's why they were cleaning the block. I know that's awesome. I want to see what it does on the dyno. I agree with you. Have a great night. Well, thank you, Steve. Yeah, I can't wait to see what it's going to do either. It's. Listen, it was a fun project. It was an adventure, and it was a challenge. And as a team, we beat the challenge. I think that was great. And that's the thing. We really worked as a team. Michael, you greetings from Washington. Brought back out some bad memories. Yeah, I had a few flashbacks during that. Tony, make you a spot to park your little 283 this summer. Yeah, definitely. Can you gain good power from balancing pistons and rods? Do you think it would be worth doing on my Pontiac 455 that won't see over 5,700 RPM? Absolutely not. If you're using production parts, no, the production balance tolerances are fine. You're not going to see any benefit. Evan Cooper, you said in your G-Body vid that you would do turbos and LS stuff, and I thought you were against putting in engines that did not belong in the car, and I thought you didn't want to use turbos. On my own cars, on my own cars. What I do with my cars and what I do with other people's cars are two completely different things. I would love to build a turbo LS and stick it in anything anybody brings me, but it's going to be somebody else's project. Paul, you enjoyed the I build. I was man porting those heads. Hey, I was trying to do 12 hours of work in like 4 hours. I think I spent on those things. So yeah, it was frantic, man. Dakota, Tony of the Man, you have never failed me with my many questions. Your many questions are the only thing keeping me alive, Dakota. Do you stop giving? I feed off of your questions, right? It's crazy, right? Did a factory high performance 340 even pump out 375 horsepower? Eugene, it was rated at 275. The factory 340 was rated at 275. They actually made 290 and change. Fly so high 420. Thank you, sir. So dot to dot is wrong. Is that why I'm having to add 20, 30, 40 degrees of timing on my SE 360 to run? It is factory supposed to be set at 6. All right, no, listen. Dot to dot would be 180 out. Dot facing up and dot facing up is right on. That's when you would, that would be top dead center. If you have to add 20, 30, 40 degrees of timing for it to run, there's a good chance. Did you change the cam fly so high? Is that a new cam? I'm waiting for you to come back in here, fly so high. I don't want to hurry up with your answer because I don't want to get sidetracked. It is a new cam. Okay, check the cam because I had one I did last year on a slant 6 that was ground 11 degrees retarded. Drove me fucking crazy. It was ground 11 degrees retarded. Check the cam. Okay. Tony, what are my opinions on a 351 Windsor? I'm pulling one from a 92 Bronco. What would you recommend for a donor car? Any Fox body, and I love those Windsor motors. I adore fucking Windsor motors. What book has better engine tricks, Smokies or Grumpies? Oh, they were both good. You can't compare the two. You can't compare the two. Those guys were both monks. You know what I'm saying? And they each have their own wisdoms, and yeah, you can't pit them against each other. But you know, hey, excuse me. What are you guys doing? Maggie, Darla, come here. Come here. Darla, come here. They're about to square off over here. We're like this close to having an all-out dog fight. Yep. Why no old Lincoln love? I didn't have old Lincoln love. It's 218 intake. Well, thank you. Thank you again. Fly so high. No, listen to me, right? It doesn't matter what the intake or what the intake resource duration or the load separation angle is. It may be ground if you put that thing. If you put it in dot to dot, okay. You know, you just lined it up on the dots, and you drop the distributor in, expecting the car to start, and you've got to have 40 degrees of timing before it'll actually run. The cam may not be ground correctly, right? Or what I should say is it may not be indexed correctly. So I had this happen very recently. Cam was ground 11 degrees retarded. You know, it was a mistake that the factory made or the manufacturer made. So go back and check that. Go top dead center. Here's how you check this. Okay, listen to me. Right, ready? All right. Put the motor top dead center number one cylinder. Okay, so that you're in that dot to dot position. Okay, then go to the valve, the two lifters. All right, the two lifters at that point should be exactly the same amount off the seat. Okay, or off their lobes. They should both be raised exactly the same amount. When you go dot to dot, right? When you go dot to dot, what's happening is the exhaust valve is closing, the intake valve is opening, and at dot to dot, both the intake and the exhaust valve is supposed to be open exactly the same amount. Check that. Okay. Okay, yeah, try that. Good luck, man. Good luck. That's the retarded cam on that slant drove me crazy. Really drove me crazy. Because you never expect, you know what I mean? And it was one of those things I just took it for granted. Here, let's just throw this thing in. Okay, line it all up. It's good, right? I didn't bother to grain it. That taught me a lesson. You're thinking if he's advancing retarded 20 degrees, he's off a tooth on a distributor. No, because if you'd still be moving the distributor. Like, okay, as long as he's got the wires lined up on the cap, it doesn't matter what tooth the distributor is on. As long as the positioning of the wires on the cap are in the correct phasing to where the rotor is. So it doesn't matter if you missed a tooth or not, as long as you got the wires in the right place. Danny, California, what kind of ETs can you get with a stock 440 and a 4-speed A-body? Not as good as the ETs you could get with a stock 340 4-speed in that same car. What's my favorite year of the Plymouth Volare? I like the 76s. The Volare Roadrunner and that Spitfire Orange is such a beautiful car. Yes, I'm a cook at the Waffle House. I work second shift at the Waffle House. They let me off tonight so I could do this live feed. Okay. Any tips for replacing my 390 FE intake? Nothing that I could think of off the top of my head. It's a fairly straightforward job. How close approximately is the daily to completion? Motor should be running this weekend. Yeah, heavy intakes are heavy. Of course, I've put them on. I can't tell you how many FEs I've put together over the years. Uncle Kathy is hiding someplace, and the dog behind me is Maggie. And Maggie has got her heckles up today. You heard me say your name? She's a good girl. And this is Darla, and the two of them are just like there's the growling. Using your method to check, Paul, using your method to check cam phasing to the crank, how would you check if you wanted to advance the cam? With a feeler gauge. I'm going to do that video. Lon, thank you so much, sir. Talk about oil delivery sometimes in an engine. Yeah, we can do that. Actually, I started to work on the good engine for Bottle Rocket, the one that we're going to try to step on, and I'm doing some oil system modifications to that block, so we'll probably do a video on that. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that, Zach Hamilton. Watch your daily driver, one of the off-feed dual port intakes work well for mileage. The thing I don't like about the off-feed dual port, like it works in theory, right? But there's so much surface area in the runners that there's so much drag in the runners, it's a velocity killer. '78 stock Lincoln 460 versus a mild built 68 302. Red Bank, I don't know, like that's a hard comparison to make. Like what body is it going in? Paul, yeah, my method actually, it's the Keith Black method, right? I didn't invent that. I learned that from Keith Black. Maggie looks like a kid. Maggie's the princess here. Can I show freeze plug removal and reinstall? There are so many like videos like that out there. Just search that. There's probably already 50 videos on that out there. Okay. It's going in a 53 F100, 460 or 302, which would be appreciated the most. Both C6s. C6, you do not want to run a fucking C6 behind a 302. Yeah, no. Definitely no C6 behind a 302. They take way too much power to turn. The C6 is the biggest horsepower killer that there is as far as transmissions go. For the application, I would go with the 460. I would go with the 460. Let's see. Should I block off the fresh air ports on Ram 318 manifolds or go headers? Probably best off putting headers on it. Like the only reason I'm using the header exhaust manifolds on our daily driver project is because I have all my cars go boom, 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 and they got the tinny header sound, and I want one that's just silky smooth, dead factory quiet. So I'm using exhaust manifolds on it. But yeah, headers are almost always a better choice. Yeah, dog herder, she's serious about getting her paws clean. James Martin, good luck with that, brother. Let's see. Tony, when are we going to see an update on this slant? Very soon. Very soon. Again, I had to put that project on the side because we had other things, and I got to get the daily driver going because it's a daily driver. So that's got to get done. And we had our delays with Bottle Rocket. I just did not want to get too deep into the Slant 6 until we had at least gotten a handle on getting Bottle Rocket down the track. So we're going to get back to that very soon. Of all the stuff I got going on, the Slant 6 is my favorite thing. So I'm anxious to get back to it, but every project has its time, and right now it's not the time for that. Are you running torque flights in any of your cars? Yes, most of my other than the ones that are manual transmission. Yeah, I got like torque flights in like 7 different vehicles. Why didn't you go to Slant Six in your daily driver? On that car, that car's got air conditioning and all that shit. The Slant is a little underpowered for what I wanted to do. We have a Slant daily driver. We have our 1964 Dart's got a slant in it. Wild Rose Garage. What's the primary use of my engines? Does it hold from heat? Yeah. Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer. I had a white box Camgo bed. What brands do I recommend? Name brands. Something that you can call the manufacturer directly and say, "Hey, your cam took a shit on me." Yes, Air Vaccaro, I am going to do the cam degrading video. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up in a few minutes here.
You missed the super chat.
Oh, I missed the super. Oh shit, Jared Kelly. Oh, celebrating your birthday, watching. Jared Kelly, happy birthday, brother, man, and thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Happy birthday. I'm sorry I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. How much horsepower can you get out of a Slant 6-cylinder? I don't know. We're going to find out. That's why we're building it. Arise Chickon. It's your birthday also. Happy birthday, Mr. Chickon. And Fubar just posted the link to our merch if you want a UTG hat, stickers, window stickers, T-shirts. That's the link for it that Fubar just posted. UncleTony'sGarage.com. Thank you. Hey, Tony, must you resize rods when replacing the bolts? No. Zero, what's going on, brother man? Are 6-pack rods worth using, or are they just engine anchors? I have a set on my shelf. They're good rods, but I mean, they're not worth the hassle. Use the standard rods are fine. Fly so high. Thank you for the $5. Thank you, sir. Sorry, just trying to figure this out. If everything checks out, should I just drive? And I don't want to blow a hole in my pistons running that advanced. I would. Yeah, I wouldn't take a chance on it. I wouldn't take a chance on it. I would take it apart. I would take it apart and be a detective. Be a detective. That's a big part of being a mechanic. Okay, that's the biggest part of being a mechanic. Okay, is you're a mechanical detective, right? Find the problem, find the issue. Put all of those pieces together. That's what this is all about. Is there any classic Chrysler product I dislike or hate? No. I have equal love for all Mom Mopart's creations. And I mean that sincerely. I have every bit the love and respect for a Slant 6 Valiant as I do for a Hemi Cuda convertible. To me, they're all exactly the same. So what are the benefits of degreeing a cam? How does that help? That's a really complicated question. I give you quick, okay? The first thing is to make sure that it's synchronized correctly, okay? Obviously, You want to make sure that that dot to dot is true. Some cams are grounded with advance or retard in them already. You need to know that and know where she sits. And then for a tuning aspect, if you need more bottom end power, you advance a cam. If you need more top end power, you retard a cam. So it's a tuning thing as well as a confirmation of things being correct. No. You guys are confusing more modern Mopars as opposed to the classic era Mopars. To me, classic era is like 1960 or 1980. So, all right, anyway, guys, listen, this was a lot of fun. I got a couple of things I got to get done before the end of the night. So I'm gonna pull the plug here. Been up for an hour, going on for an hour here. Ari, John, Fubar, you guys, thank you so much for moderating. Everybody who contributed, thank you. We appreciate it. Every penny that comes in goes into keeping the wheels turning over here. This is our full-time gig. There are no jobs, So we appreciate all of you. And even the guys who didn't, contribute. We just appreciate you coming and being with us. So we'll see you in a couple of days. Probably not tomorrow. Maybe Friday night we'll pop on for a while. So that's it, guys. Good night and thank you.